All right, guys. Today we have jobless claims, unemployment filings coming out at 8:30. Give me a second. I'm still kind of waking up. Jobless claims are expected today at 229K. 229. Last up, they came in at 222. All right. All right, so jobless claims today. Let me put my disclaimer up. What's up, Mike, Pawn, Coffee, Joseph, No, Sass. Should we buy Boeing? So I accidentally sold Pepsi yesterday. I'm honestly still kind of bummed out about it. So I had some shares of Pepsi yesterday. And somebody asked me yesterday, they were like, hey, do you ever trade in the afternoon? And I told them exactly what I do, which is that sometimes I'll look at my phone and I'll check my portfolio in the afternoon. And if I'm up big at anything, I'll take some profit off of it, right? Well, I looked at Pepsi yesterday and I was up pretty big, versus like I was up like 5% very quickly in my position. And so I wanted to take some shares off. Like I wanted to take like 35-45% of my shares off. But I forgot to select EXT order, and when I finally selected EXT order, apparently I had accidentally sold the entire position of Pepsi, which was a very nice, very green trade. I was up hundreds on it yesterday. I'm still kind of bummed I sold it all. I should have held a little bit at least, but that's all right. We made our money from it, which is good. This was an after hours yesterday, so we made our money from it, and it's up big. It's up to over 170 when we sold it, so we got out almost at the top. Let me see exactly where we got filled at on Pepsi. I'm still kind of bummed about it though, to be honest. Yeah, so I sold at 169.95 yesterday. So I got out literally at the top yesterday of Pepsi, which is great. I'll take it, but I'm trying to see where I entered Pepsi at. I got in Pepsi a couple days ago, 3 days ago at 167s. So we bought it at 167, sold it at basically 170 a few days later. I'll take it. It wasn't quite 5% like I thought it was, but that's all right. But yeah, accidentally sold the whole thing. I would have held it. I think Pepsi's still pretty extended on the downside. The reason a lot of these soft drink companies like Coca-Cola, like Pepsi are down so much is because of Ozempic and the weight loss drug movement that we've had over the last year. Last year straight, like weight loss drugs have kind of taken over. A lot of people are speculating that that Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and others are going to have continued weakness from these weight loss drugs. I'm not sure I really understand the logic, but because I think a lot of people drink. I know personally, like I drink Pepsi and Coca-Cola. I don't drink them that much anymore. I've kind of switched to stevia cola, which is a little bit better. It's still not good for you, but it's a little bit better. But I think a lot of people drink colas for caffeine specifically. Like I don't drink a soda outside of caffeine. If it doesn't have caffeine in it, I'm not about to drink it. And so, I don't know if it's going to have as big of an effect as people think, but yeah. Yeah, Netflix reports this evening. Earnings-wise today, chat, we have Taiwan Semiconductors reported earnings. They had surprise 8% growth, but they gapped down a lot. Or no, they're up a little bit today, actually. They reported early this morning. They went all the way up to 178. So essentially they haven't moved. But Taiwan Semiconductors did report Blackstone reported, D.R. Horton reported. I know we had Waller speak yesterday. All right. Yeah, I got something I gotta sign. Yeah, so gold, so there's a couple things, right? So gold tend to react positively to rate cuts. This is due to a couple different things. The first thing is lower opportunity cost interest rates in gold. When central banks cut interest rates, the yields on bonds and other income investments generally fall. Since gold does not yield any interest or dividends, its relative attractiveness increases when the returns on the other assets decrease, if that makes sense, right? So historical data shows rise in gold prices following a rate cut as investors seek different stores of value, alternative stores of value. It also has kind of a stimulative effect, where rate cuts are often used as a stimulative measure to boost economic activity, and this can lead to increased inflation expectations. Gold is traditionally seen as an inflation hedge, and so people, flock towards gold in times of high inflation, and so essentially, if cutting rates causes inflation, people might flock to gold from it. An example of this is during 2008, the Fed cut rates to almost zero, and subsequently gold prices soared, reaching all-time highs the following years, right? So rate cuts are typically good for gold. Also, with currency depreciation, with lower interest rates, can lead to a depreciation of the national currency, making gold cheaper in other countries, and this has increased demand for gold. If the Fed Reserve cuts rates, the dollar might weaken and make gold less expensive for investors. So, hope that all makes sense. I think Intel is a trap. Yeah, I've already scaled out of most of Intel already. Intel was very cheap for a while. I cut most of it though. It's at $35 a share. We're green again on the day. I saw something Warren Buffett said about Nike, and it's surprisingly mirrored. And I hadn't actually seen this before, so I saw this interview, and it was with Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, and he was talking about why he didn't like Nike, right? And honestly, it made me feel good, even though I'm holding Nike, right? Because what Warren Buffett essentially said mirrored my sentiments regarding companies like Lululemon, and basically what he said, I'll have to go back and find the video, right? But basically what he said was that there's no guarantee that Nike or any other fashion retailer like Nike, in this regard, Lululemon, there's no guarantee that it's going to be at the top in 20 years, 30 years, right? Fashion trends change, And so investing in it is a risky thing, right? And it kind of mirrors my sentiment. And I hadn't even seen that interview before, but he was talking about Nike. And again, I kind of feel the same. Like, I'm not holding Nike long term. I'm in Nike right now, but it's kind of more of a swing trade just because it's so beaten down, you know? But it has bounced back some. Like, it's back up to 73s. It had a green day yesterday, too. I'll take it. I think Goldman Sachs predicted a high of 2,700. Yeah, gold's currently at 2460. 2,700 seems doable if we have a really good reaction to rate cuts, especially. But who knows if that's what we're gonna get or not, you know. Man, I thought about starting the stream much later here because like yesterday we started the stream at like 6:30, 7:30 market time, and we had hundreds of people here watching. You know, I guess it ultimately depends on how many people we got here by 7:30. Let me pull everything up. We got DocuSign. All right. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking at gold. Gold's still churning up here. NASDAQ had this big bounce back. I'm kind of going to short this, though, I think. Like, we're going to short this. You know, I'm looking at Intel. Intel back up to 35 today. Do y'all like this setup here? Yeah, let me do a poll here. Does today's jobless claims report show higher or lower unemployment filings? Higher, lower. We're just gonna keep it simple today. Vote on the poll. %, say lower. I bought up some NVIDIA as it dropped. Yeah, I'm assuming NVIDIA's up a little bit today. No, NVIDIA's all the way down to 117s. Back up to 120s. Okay, so NVIDIA's up a little bit today. Down yesterday, up today. Maybe it was time to buy the dip yesterday too. I don't know if it was, but we're very green. You know, again, our Nike trade helped me. We're in Nike. My Pepsi trade helped me. I mean, I'm in Coca-Cola as well. Part of these pay out, you know, divvies, so I don't want to scoff at them too much. All right, so we're down a little bit. I want to give this time to break down here. Do you guys like the new setup where we got 4 charts up? Is this too little of charts though? Would it be better for like 3 so we can actually kind of see what's going on some of these charts? I think it's probably a little bit better. 4 charts might be too much, too small, right? I made money yesterday on this account, and we just kind of shut it down. Let me make sure this is the right account and not my... Okay, good. Yeah, I wanted to make sure, because there's one account that's ready to be funded. All right, there we go. We're nicely green here. Let's see if we can start to break down here. We got a little mini double top short term here, too. Again, there's the Q. There's NVIDIA. There's Apple. There we go. Part of me wants to add to this, too. I think I will. We're going to add to it and just take the risk. Tesla's up to 250s. NASDAQ worst day in 2 years. Does that count as our correction so we can push higher again? How much did the NASDAQ drop yesterday? Let me see. QQQ. All right, so the Q yesterday dropped from the Q dropped basically from 495s down to 481s. So that is a 2.5% drop, 3% drop. So not quite a correctional move, I would say. You know, not yet at least. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take half of this off just because we can lock in profit here on the day. We're up about 40 bucks. We'll see if this breakdown happens some more. There we go. We're starting to get it. Boom. All right, well, we just made a cool little 140 bucks on the short. It looked like a short, and we were able to take advantage of it. Here's the trades. We were up about 140 bucks. 3 trades on the day. 4 trades technically. Up about 140. Short looked good. We took it. We took it. What's up, Phil? All right, earnings season's here, chat, with Netflix earnings. Next week is when the big boys finally start, you know. All right, guys. A company called Austin Private Wealth shorted 12 million shares of DJTV at put option. Filing date is July 12th, the day before the... Oof. Kind of backfired on them though, huh? Alright, so we're starting to move up a little bit on the Dow. NVIDIA is another one to watch. It's at 120.50s. Jim Carrey once said, solitude is dangerous. It's very addictive. It becomes a habit after you realize how peaceful and calm it is. It's like you don't want to deal with people anymore because they drain your energy. End quote. Jim Carrey. I like solitude, you know, and I do think that you pay for, okay. The purpose of life is human interaction. If you don't realize the purpose of life is human interaction, you're missing out on something, because anytime they separate people from people, the said people they separate others from get really sad, get really depressed very, very, very quickly. As long as, like, with a couple exceptions, right? But in almost universally, this happens. And so the purpose of life is human interaction, but there's a cost to it, right? Like, I know I get a lot more stuff done when I have solitude. You know, when my family's not around, I get a lot more stuff done. As my family's around, I want to hang out with them. Like, I want to hang out with my son. I want to hang out with my daughter. I want to watch stuff with them. I want to go play catch. I want to do, like, the dad stuff. And it's great. It's an investment into them, because that'll be something that they look back on with good, you know, appreciation, hopefully. But yeah, you pay for it, though. You're less productive around people. Tesla's up a little bit today, dipped yesterday. Most things dipped yesterday, though. Tesla down to 250s. Yeah. Honestly, again, I'm actually a pretty big introvert. Like, you know, to a point where I get nervous around people. I really do. So it's incredibly ironic for me to run a community where I have hundreds and sometimes thousands of people watching me at all times. But it also takes a toll on me outside of this, you know? So, like, an example is my freaking kids and their FaceTime, man. My kids will just FaceTime randomly. I had to make a rule at my house, like, yo, you can't FaceTime your friends unless you come up to us and you get explicit permission first. Like, if we don't give you the green light to FaceTime your friends, don't be walking in my room with your phone out. Like, my son will do this thing where he'll FaceTime his friends. And to prove to me, like, because sometimes I'll give my son a restriction. I'll be like, yo, you can't FaceTime, or you can't play video games unless your friends are playing with you online. Because, like, I don't want my son sitting there playing video games by himself all day, because he will. And I'm a video game player, so I get how easy it is to do that, right? But life is about balance, especially when you're young. And so I'll tell my son, hey, you can play games if your friends want you to play with them. Like, if your friends call you up and they're like, hey, let's play games, like, let's play Roblox, then you can play. And so my son will do this thing where he'll walk in my room and he'll show me his friend. I'll be laying in bed. My son will walk in the room. Hey, Dad, look, I'm FaceTiming. There's Billy. You know, here's my friend Bill. And he'll just point the camera at me. And, like, you know, I'm like, dude, get out of here. I guess it's my fault I gave him the rule. And my daughter will just randomly, like, my daughter is, like, obsessed with FaceTime and all of her friends, like 5 times a day. She wants to update her friends about what she's doing. She's a teenager, and so friends are, like, you know. But I had to make a rule. Neither one of them can FaceTime unless they ask us first. Like, they better come up to us, ask us, get permission, walk away from us, and then FaceTime. You know, because if they don't do that, they get their phone taken away. And I will take their phone away, too. My daughter tried it on vacation, when we were on vacation. In this little bitty Airbnb, my daughter just randomly, like, started FaceTiming her friend without asking. Got her phone taken away for days afterwards, you know. And I think it's from streaming like this. Like, streaming like this, I don't want people looking at me when I'm not streaming. Like, I don't want people staring at me, you know. I need privacy sometimes, you know. I think streaming like this will do that. Especially, like I said, I'm kind of introverted, so I think it'll kind of do it. Freaking kids, man. Heard something about a lot of GameStop calls sold and then bought back last minute of trading yesterday. Any info on that? Yeah, I mean, GameStop's doing okay. It's up. I didn't hear about that. Let me see if I can find that news. Chewy founder Ryan Cohen. GameStop currently up 8 consecutive days, on pace for longest winning streak since August of 2022. That is. Yeah, I don't see the thing about traders buying up and selling. I'll have to find it, but I don't see it. How are you introverted and have a channel like this? I don't know. I'm this weird thing, right? Like, I don't like being around people. I don't like talking to people. I don't like being the center of attention. But I can if I need to, you know? So, like, I can click it on if I need to, but I don't really like to, you know? And so it's hard to explain. Like, if it was up to me, I wouldn't. But, you know, It's hard to explain. I'm introverted for sure. Like I don't like, again, I was always shy growing up. You could ask anybody that knew me as like a teenager, right? They're gonna tell you I was introverted. You know, I'm not super outgoing, super life of the party person. I'm just not that person. I'm more introverted, shy, quiet, you know. What's funny is here on live, we barely see your face. You're 132 of the screen. Yeah, I could probably make it bigger. Here, let me see. I think I can actually. Like, look. Like, I could make it like this if you wanted. I could also do my own here, which is actually really interesting. I didn't know I could. Like, I could make myself really big, and maybe I should when I'm day trading. Right. So I could, like, build different layouts. Okay, yeah, I could build, okay, I see. So, like, yeah, like, look, I can build different layouts. Like, I could do this right here. Like, watch. Hold on, wait. Alright, hold on, wait. There you go. Yeah. So I could make it big like this. I don't know if I should though, but I can. Yeah, I know what you guys see. I mean, honestly, that's why we're here. Top 3 YouTube channels is our fam. Hey, appreciate it, Mike. Hey, what's up, Sam? Alright, I'm kind of tired of this song. I kind of like it, but it's also kind of like, alright. Yeah, so again, maybe when I'm day trading, I'll switch to this, you know, so that people can see me, and I'll be really big. Here's the breakdown here. We got a triple top. Like, we still have this trend, though, I think, if we're looking at this honestly. So, like, look, here's the trend. The good thing I like about Quant Tower is that it tells me the angle. It tells me the angle. So this is 23 degrees. This is 23 degrees, so I know it's a completely parallel trend. And so it's interesting because we'll have to wait and see when it breaks now, you know. But so there. That's the good thing about Quant Tower, is that it'll actually show me the trend. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to like this, or maybe like this is fine. Hey, what's up, Beach Bum? Yeah, after yesterday, though, honestly, I'm really genuinely starting to think about starting my stream later in the morning on slow days. Maybe on days like today, too. I'll have to test it. Thoughts on September rate cut possibility? I think September's pretty probable that we're going to cut rates, and I think the whole market essentially feels that way, too. I think we're probably going to cut in September, but who knows? Like, but it's pretty probable we are. You know, so here's the rate cut expectations for the end of this month, July 31st. Again, 4.7% of people think we're going to cut. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, 4.7% of people think we're going to cut. If we look at September, the probabilities really change. Almost everybody expects a 25 basis cut in September. 92% of people, you know. 3.8% of people expect another pause, though, so that is an option. And then 4.5% of people expect a 50 basis point cut. So we'll see, but it's pretty probable that we're going to cut rates in September, I would argue, you know, and I think leaning more towards that, it's going to look more and more probable that we're going to. I watch your show every day because you're early. Yeah, I know. That's the only reason, like, I start streaming this early, is because I know a lot of people watch for that reason specifically, you know. They're saying Teslas are pretty safe vehicles. Is this true? They're saying they're some of the safest vehicles in the world. GameStop's starting to push up more. Yeah. What's up, John? For an introvert, you do a good job talking, explaining economics, and arguing with people. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, y'all don't understand. I've never said this before, but my dad was an attorney. You know, it's something I don't really talk about very much. He didn't have like a big law firm, and I'm always hesitant to say this because I say this and people immediately think I was like super wealthy when I wasn't. Like my dad, like I lived with my mom a lot growing up, like mostly with my mom when I was young, who didn't have anything, you know. But my dad was an attorney, and so when my dad and I would argue growing up, you know, I had to be on it. But again, my dad had like a little small family firm, you know, wasn't some big law firm or anything like that. But it taught me logic, you know. All right, GameStop's about to go green on the day too. Hey fam, I took profits from He yesterday. What is He? I know Hims. Yeah, He is flying up. This is Hawaii Electric. I don't know enough about this company. It's had a really good upward trend though. So the trend on He is very solid. Very good upward trend. Here, I'm gonna put a timer up, guys, because we do have jobless claims numbers that drop in an hour and 13 and a half minutes. Yep. There we go. So again, you can kind of see we're still in this little trend here. Look, we drew the bottom of that trend. Looks like we still have a bullish market. But yeah, with that said, like my dad was an attorney. Like if you look at my personality style, if you look at my big, there's a couple different personality tests I've taken. I've taken the Myers-Briggs personality test, and I got ENTP, which is called the debater personality type. But it's actually interesting because this says I'm extroverted. It says extroverted, intuitive thinking, and prospecting traits. They tend to be bold and creative, deconstructing and rebuilding ideas with mental agility. They pursue goals vigorously despite resistance. Quick-witted and audacious people with this personality aren't afraid to disagree with everybody. In fact, they're not afraid to disagree with pretty much anything as well. Few things light up their personalities more than a bit of verbal sparring, and if the conversation veers into controversial terrain, it's better. It would be a mistake, though, to think them as disagreeable or mean-spirited. Instead, people with this type are knowledgeable and curious with a playful sense of humor, and they can be incredibly entertaining. That's what the Myers-Briggs says about me as a person. But I took the big, is it the Big Five model? I think it's the Big Five personality test, right? And again, while this last one said that I'm not disagreeable, the Big Five said I was definitely disagreeable. You know, my wife laughed when I took this test because I took this test. I also took an IQ test, and because I was curious, right? Like it's been years since I've taken an IQ test. It's been years since I've really tested my personality or any of that stuff. I was kind of bored one day, and yeah, it said I was highly disagreeable, creative. I can't remember what 5 traits it gave me, but it was interesting. Yes, correct, Blaze. All right, so look, we're pulling back down to the bottom here. He crashed last year this month during the Hawaii fires. Public saw the response as bad. Yeah, again, I just don't know. This wasn't too bad of a daily chart for me. Like, if this was a blue chip healthy company that I had heard about, it would be different. But again, HE is just not that. You know, if we look at HE here, if we put up a long-term trend, this thing is down really, really bad. Like a daily chart's really bad. Like, look at this chart. $40 in 2023. It's down to $7, $12. I just don't know this company well enough to really make that bet on this one. And I'm hesitant for sure, just because I don't trust it. Throw all that out, John, when trying to argue with a 3-year-old. Not discuss, argue. I feel like I'm pretty good at. I feel like I'm pretty good at, like, debating people. You know, having discussions. This might be a better way to put it. Like, I might disagree with people, and I certainly make it known if I disagree. I'm not really afraid to disagree with anybody here, really. But I never veer into disrespectful. I might be insensitive, and that's something that my test said. It said I was disagreeable, insensitive. I can't remember the other ones, man. It said I was creative, disagreeable, insensitive. I have to go back and look. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Disagreeing with a 3-year-old. Yeah. That's how it goes. All right, guys. GameStop now technically green on the day. Look at GameStop. Here's GME. The market itself is also kind of like weird. It tested the bottom of that range. Here's the previous close. So, like, look at the previous close. So, GameStop just went green. Just broke over that previous closing price level. Have you ever noticed that some people think you're arguing when you're debating a subject, or you just see it a different way than they do? Yeah, I mean, I think with the stock market, I think with stocks especially, everybody has a different perspective, and everybody, like, there's a lot of bias and ego and all this different stuff floating around, and so people might think I'm arguing because I disagree with them, but I'm not gonna blindly agree with anybody just to agree. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to evoke conflict, but I think sometimes it gets there because I think a lot of ego floats around in markets, and so people want to be right, they don't want to be wrong. The anonymity of the internet causes them to argue different things. Sometimes they don't even believe the things they're arguing for. They're just kind of arguing out of habit or ego. But I think, yeah, I think it's just everybody has different views. Like, stock selection is very subjective. You know, certain people love different stocks, certain people hate different stocks, and I think that causes a lot of disagreements. But it doesn't have to be an argument. Like, I think these conversations are very good for people to hear. It's important for people to hear both sides of a stock argument. Like, if I like Nike and somebody dislikes Nike, or if I don't like Lululemon and somebody likes Lululemon, it's good for people to hear both sides instead of just blind support for a company. You know, like, people have to hear both sides. Now, it needs to be taken with a grain of salt and understand that everybody has bias. But I think it's really useful for people to hear at home. If ATF reported doesn't go. What ATF report? We made cash off of NYCB and New York City Bank. Or New York Community Bank. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm surprised they're still around. Did they go bankrupt last year? Or what was it? Was it last year? Yeah. Did they go bankrupt last year? They've had a terrible 2024 period. So again, I'm surprised they're still around. Like, looking at a long-term chart, they've had a terrible, like, look at the New York City Bank long-term chart. Like, look at this, right? Like, they've had a really bad swing here. They were at $100 in 04. They've basically been downtrending since 04. For a 20-year downtrend. I can't remember what they did though. Chapter 11's reorganizational bankruptcy, so it doesn't matter too much either. New New York City Bank got an influx of investor money to prop them up, if my memory serves. Yeah. Maybe. Reverse split causes a spike. Yeah, one thing you realize very quickly is like, I was telling my friend about this, and my friend agreed with me. One of the things my friend said is that most people are not very smart. You know, it's something that you realize on the internet. Huh. '90s elevator music. Well, the community banks may have issue with higher rates next year with refinancing. Yeah, the banks are not going to do as well. Well, no, the banks are going to be doing better if rate cuts happen, right? Banks typically do good with rate cuts, of course, because lenders want lower rates, right? Lenders are going to want lower interest rates. You know, like, it makes sense, you know. Like, I always kind of confirm stuff with AI to see what AI has to say, but just not even looking at this. Banks should benefit from rate cuts, of course, because they're lenders, and lenders are going to get more business from lower interest rates. You know, so. All right, so Tesla shares. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these. So Pon's talking about Camping World as a company. CWH says one you might watch for is Camping World, largest seller of RVs. I've seen where instead of buying new homes, we are seeing increases in RV purchases, and that being a new trend for the younger generation. Yeah, honestly, I think there's a lot of good marketing. I think there's a lot of cool content on camping and stuff like that. You know. Huh. I listen to you every day on the way to work in the morning. I won't be able to start it. Would you guys rather me start earlier or later? Chat, let me know what you guys think. I know we got a lot of lurkers. We got hundreds of people that watch the stream that don't say anything. Come out from the shadows, lurkers. Tell me, do you want me to start earlier or later? I'm curious. Yeah, so again, if you don't know, you're called lurkers. People who watch the stream every day but never say a word. Let me know. Earlier or later. Again, the only reason I'm thinking about starting it at like 7:30 as opposed to like 6:30 when I normally start the stream, or 5:30 my time, 6:30 y'all's time, is because yesterday we started it at 7:30 and we had hundreds and hundreds of views within 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So that's the only reason. Yeah, there you go. There you guys go. See, I know. I see you guys. Like, I know we got hundreds of people watching. We might have like 5 people talk. It's all right. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all don't have to say anything. I appreciate it. CWH, yeah, Camper World. I just don't know enough about the company to really say. Yeah, I just don't know enough about the company to really say. Yeah, it's because I'm working. I just listen. It's all good, Mark. I've seen you before, so I remember you. I mean, I've seen most of these guys before. Like, a lot of y'all have said something. I like when you start earlier. I'm a half lurker on my dad's side. It's all the people you've banned? Probably not. That's just you, Bob. I know Bob over here has got like 3 different accounts. He trolls with some of them. He posts with some of them. I know. How's Winnebago and Yeti? Yeah, I don't know about Yeti. I don't like Yeti as a company. Although, you know, there might be some arguments for it. You know, Yeti, the problem is competition, I think. You know, like, I think the rich are always going to buy it. But I think the rich are always going to buy the expensive stuff. But, you know, they've done, I think something that hurt Yeti as a business was they tested it versus its competitors, like its much cheaper competitors. And they realized that the cheaper competitors actually did better than Yeti did in a lot of areas. So what's the point of using Yeti then? I guess is the question. I don't know. That has always kind of thrown me off about Yeti as a company. And I've been hesitant to buy it. I just don't know enough about like the business. I know what the business is. It sells like mugs and coolers and stuff like that. But it's hard for me to invest in that. You know, plus they've been downtrending since 2021. Wow, somebody speaking up. Yeah, it's because I referenced them, Phil. You know, again, we got a lot of lurkers. Yeah. I know we have a lot of lurkers here that don't say anything, and that's all good. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, y'all don't have to talk. I know people tune in for market news. Like, I start early. I talk about economics. I talk about the market. People find value in that. They watch it. They don't have to say anything. Yeah. Top 3 lurker. Lurkers need love too. Yeah, it's not gonna be before. Hey, thank you, Em. I always like the video when I pop up. Thanks, game. I just listen. I'm working. Yeah. Yeti is a solid product, way better than its competitors. Is it really though, Snow? I mean, I guess you would know being a snowman yourself, you know. But again, I think they've done videos, comparisons, where they've said, hey, here's a Yeti cooler, and then here is a Amazon bought like competitor to Yeti that's, you know, 75% cheaper. And they've done studies, and the Amazon competitor outperformed the actual Yeti in a lot of different ways. In some ways, the Yeti held up, though. But the argument was like, is this, like, the difference this big, right? Like, is it worth spending almost twice as much for a Yeti product versus its competitors? You know, I don't know. Again, that's not really a market. I'm not really a big, like, camper myself, so I don't know. Netflix a buy. I'm not buying Netflix right now. Netflix is right ahead of earnings. I recently sold my Netflix position too. So we had a Netflix position that we wrote up since, like, we bought Netflix. Man, I can't remember where we bought it. Let me see. We bought Netflix. Yeah, we bought Netflix at 572s. All right, so we bought Netflix at 572s. We sold a little bit of it at 580 and held the rest up to 660, where we recently sold. So from 570s to 660, really nice percentage gain there on Netflix. Well, we recently sold, we cut it. We're out of it now. Depending on what they do for earnings, like if they have a big dip on earnings, we might buy it right back. But for Netflix, that's why we're sitting here waiting. I got YouTube Premium so I can trade and listen to the homie. Hey, thanks, man. Tesla buy or sell? I'm not sure. I'm in Tesla. You know, Tesla has the Robotaxi event coming out, and Kathy Wood actually spoke on this recently. When you're in a long-term hold like Chewy, for example, how do you know when is the right time to sell? I typically like to sell as we're breaking lifetime highs, you know, stuff like that. Like, I think that's the time to sell. Time to buy is when we're pulling back. So, you know, as we break lifetime highs, that's usually when I sell. Of course, that's the ideal time to sell. I'm not saying everybody's going to be able to catch that, but that's what I try to. Why is Polestar in the green? I don't know, man. Polestar is just a EV brand. I just don't know. It's under $1 a share. It looks horrible as a company. Who's the parent company behind Polestar? Is it Volkswagen or is it Volvo? I think it's Volvo, right? Regardless, Volvo hasn't been super popular recently, and Polestar is struggling. Hit 65 cents a share 3 days ago. It's still at 96 cents now, so it's up, but it's down from $14 a share. So this is again, I've been telling people about these up and coming EV brands for a while now. Most of them are not safe. Most of them are going to fail. You know, Lucid, Polestar. There's just so many examples like Lucid, Polestar, Mullen, Canoe. You know, there's all these different terrible EV brands that are almost all going to fail. The best case scenario for a lot of these is they get bought out, which even still the question is what price do they get bought out on? The only ones that are really safe, and I would even say like Rivian is safe, but it's safer than some of these other ones. The only ones that are really safe enough to consider buying some are Rivian and Tesla. You know, everything else is incredibly risky. You have to think about the customer's perspective of these EV companies. You know, do customers want to buy them? If you didn't trade stocks and had never traded the stock market before, and you were in the market to buy an EV, what are you going to buy? Right? Like, you have to think about it from the customer's perspective, right? Are you going to buy a freaking Mullen? Of course not. Are you going to buy a Polestar? Of course not. Are you going to buy a Lucid? Maybe, but probably not. The only ones that you're really going to consider are Tesla, Rivian if you want a truck, and legacy automotive brands like Toyota, Ford, you know, their EVs, Lexus, you know, stuff like that. Like, those EVs you'll consider. Everything else nobody's going to buy, right? And so that's the risk investing. That's why these companies fail. They don't have the customer base interested in them. But again, when you zoom in, maybe there's good and bad times to buy them. I don't know. Rivian's sketchy too. Rivians are cool though. Yeah, spending $100K on a Lucid, like, just bad decision making. You know, unless you got FU money. If you have FU money, it's a different thing. You know, some people have enough money where they don't care. 100K is nothing, and they would just. I'm not that type of person, but some people have money like that. And so yeah. The only thing about Camper World here is that it's been up on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-day green streak. So it's just up too much for me. It's up big percentages in short periods of time. I'm just not trying to buy that up now either. But yeah. Anyways, here's the Q. Here's Tesla. Again, Tesla up a lot today. Rivian. GameStop down there, so technically red on the day. Now here's the Q. All right, we got 485s, 44s in the Q. So the Q's up some. I do actually believe that, Sam. Volvos, you know, again, I had a kid that I went to school with that drove a Volvo every day to school. You know, his parents bought him a Volvo, and rightfully so. Volvos are the safest cars on the road. They really are, right? They're heavy is what they are. They're heavy. They're like a freaking tank. They're like tanks. They really are. We lost $80 when sold it. We tried to do a rent to own with a couple and they destroyed the place. Had a 6-month eviction process. It was bad. When you sold what? Kind of wish I didn't take the promotion and move to St. Louis and sell it. Oh, here, let me go back. Mike, the price of them have exploded. Me and Kim bought a double wide back in 2016 for like 40 to 45K, and that same model is now going for 70K or so. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the risk there, pawn, is like, if you do a rent to own, yeah, a rent to own is bad, you know. Like, rent to own is tough because, especially in a trailer, you know, a camper, because people are going to destroy those. Like, they're going to party in them, they're going to, you know, and then if they mess it up, they're not going to pay for it, you know. It's kind of like, you know, you hear these people, and again, I'm not talking about you guys, because I think your decision there is a little bit more understandable than what I'm about to say, right? So I'm not talking smack. I'm just prefacing what I'm about to say with them. I'm not talking smack to you, pawn. Your decision there makes sense, right? If they're going to buy it, they're going to buy it, and that's a different thing. But you see people with these brilliant business ideas regarding, like, renting your car out to random people on Turo, right? And this is a horrible idea. You see it marketed as some genius business idea. They'll say something along the lines of, "Hey, you buy a car for 100K, you rent it out for $300 a day," you know, and then they'll do some stupid math like, "Hey, if you rent it out, you know, 25 out of 30 days of the month for $300 a day, you make $7,500 a month. Within 12 months, you're going to make your money back and get a free car. You know, follow me more for business tips." It's the dumbest advice you could ever hear. The dumbest advice you could ever hear, right? Like, again, if you rent your supercar out to people, maybe not even a supercar, but if you rent your supercar out to people on Turo, they are going to destroy that car. Have you ever treated a rental car well? Of course not. If I'm renting a supercar, bro, I am race carring that car for at least a week, you know, while I have it. You know, because why do people want to rent a supercar? So that they can feel the, you know, speed of the supercar. They are going to destroy that car, you know, and so by the time you make even half of the money back that you paid for that car, your car probably will be done. The engine's going to be blown. Your brakes are over with. Like, it's going to be such a depreciating asset if you start renting it out to people. And again, the only people that really fall for this are people that want to believe it's true. They want to believe that you can rent your car out on Turo and make all this freaking money. Again, you're not going to. You rent your car out to people on Turo, they are going to destroy, they're going to beat up that car. And by the time you make any money from it, your whole car is going to be gone. It's just a terrible business idea. But again, you got some people that just want to sound cool, making shorts and making videos on YouTube about, "Hey guys, you know, if you buy a Lamborghini and rent it out every day." Number one, it's unrealistic to expect that you're going to make $300 25 out of 30 days of the month. Completely unrealistic expectation. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to do that type of business. Number two, your whole car is going to be gone. Insurance is going to be terrible. It's probably not going to pay for it if somebody else crashes the car unless you get really expensive insurance. The whole thing is just a horrible, like, dumb business idea. But you see it all the time. Like, you see this type of thing all the time on social media. It's crazy. You know, like, you got a bunch of dumb people giving out business advice online. In the end, do not rent your supercar out on Turo. You're going to destroy that thing. All right. Yeah, Taiwan Semiconductors posted earnings today. They are up slightly. They posted these earnings right now. I'll put these earnings up on screen for TSM, but they reported their earnings already. Yeah, so they posted EPS 148, beat 140, sales of 20.82. They beat the 20.23 estimate. So here's Taiwan Semiconductors numbers. Airbnb is different. It's a different business, right? Airbnb is a little bit different. Why? Because you have safety measures in place for Airbnb, and the profit margin for Airbnb is very, very good. You can also put cameras up. If they destroy the place, they'll have to pay for it. Like, there's a lot of safety measures that you take on Airbnb that aren't there for renting your car out. You know, and again, a property is different. right? Like, people could stay at a property and it's going to retain its value for the most part. People driving your rental car or driving your supercar as a rental is going to make it depreciate, hundreds of times faster than it would. So it's just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. Again, people are desperate to believe it's true because confirmation bias makes people want to believe it's true. They want to believe that they could buy a supercar and rent it out and make all this money and be this genius business savant. Again, they want to believe it's true, so they ignore the red flags that it's not true. And that happens a lot with a lot of different things, but especially with this. Anyways, NASDAQ's breaking highs again. Or not breaking highs, breaking over where we were. Still in this trend here, I would say. Let's fix the angle a little bit, but I would still say we're in this trend. Yeah, squatters are just terrible. It's true, trust me, bro. Yeah. Well, squatters are horrible. Like I said, Pawn said he got stuck with them. And that's absolutely true, man. You got to get like a good landlord-friendly, safe place. Yeah, so I'm talking to Pawn. They were probably planning it the whole time. So again, you get squatters that like strategically do this. Again, it's important that you go to a landlord-friendly state, to be honest, because like if you go to New York, I would never buy a property in New York ever. Like terrible. Like no freaking way I'm buying a property in New York. Why? Because somebody in New York can literally steal your property from you. If you go on vacation, somebody can steal your property from you. It's gonna be incredibly difficult to get them out. It's a money pit. It's crazy that the laws are even like that anywhere, but, again. Well, anybody can have good references, though. References, I wouldn't go by reference. I would go by credit, Like, they better have, like, if somebody has an 800 credit score, they're usually not doing dumb stuff like that, right? So I would go purely by credit. My friend was on deployment, came back and his rental property was abandoned. They left it a mess, stopped paying heat. Pipes froze, $25K to replace when he got home. Yeah. A lot of breakouts recently. IWM. IWM is it semiconductors? Or what is it? It's Russell. Oh, it's small caps. So I'm looking at DIA. What is DIA ETF? It says diamonds on it. The Dow Industrial Average. Why does it say diamonds? Is it on? This isn't a diamond ETF, is it? I'm in Disney right now. We're still we're down a little bit, but not a ton. We're green on the day too. I'm also in MU. I bought MU not that long ago. At the time, I was just happy to get it out of my name. Yeah, for sure. They always cite conditions that are ideal, but sell the idea as typical. Right, for sure. Yeah. Rented a Porsche Cayenne GTS, had a drunk renter put it in a ditch and hit 3 trees. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, TSM earnings came in good. But they're gapping up a very small amount. Like, they're not up a huge amount. They had good earnings, though. Yeah, for sure, Sam. That's what they're just trying to take it. Honestly, if somebody, like, tried to steal my camper that way, I'd probably just hook it up to a truck in the middle of the night and just drive off. Tell them I'm going to Canada, Honestly, Canada might be the worst place to go. Canada, they probably give them the camper, But yeah. Hertz is self-insured. Most insurance doesn't deal with renting. Yeah, I'm in Texas, so Texas is a little bit better. There's a guy here in Alaska renting a Lambo for $1K a day. I guess that's not that bad. Again, though, the question is, so if you leave your house vacant, someone can just come in and claim it for a certain amount of time. Yes, Em. So I think if you leave your house and it's for like, I think it might be a couple weeks. I'll have to look up the law. What are the bad squatter laws in New York, where if you leave your home, they can come in and change the locks? Let's ask AI. Tulips is Tesla. Yeah, gotcha. Intel NVIDIA pairs is interesting. Squatters must occupy the property continuously for at least 10 years. In terms of adverse possession, their occupation must be hostile, without the owner's permission, actual. They must physically be on the property, exclusive. They are the only ones using the property, and open and notorious. They aren't hiding their occupancy. In some areas like New York City, squatters can claim certain tenant rights after just 30 days of continuous occupation, right? So within 30 days of a squatter getting into your property, they get all these rights that come with it. It's horrible. They did fix it a little bit last year, though. So they did, in 2024, New York implemented new laws to make it clear that squatters do not have the same protections as tenants. These laws aim to streamline the process of removing them and to protect owners from having to go through lengthy evictions. I don't know how good it is, though. Yeah, so in New York City, squatters can gain certain rights quickly, complicating efforts to remove them if they occupy a property for 30 days or more. So yeah, basically, if a squatter comes in and takes your property for 30 days, if you're gone for, like, this is what happens to a lot of people, right? They go on a longer vacation, right? A longer holiday, as people overseas call it, right? They go on a longer vacation. They leave their home for 30 days, right? They come back a month and a half later after being gone and doing stuff, maybe doing business or whatever it is, and they come home and people have changed the locks. They've moved into their home, and then they've changed the locks. You know, once that happens, they can't do anything, essentially. They have to wait years, a lot of the time, to get their properties back. And by the time they get their properties back, it's destroyed. Like, these people are not taking care of the homes, right? There's been a lot of videos where these guys are not taking care of the homes. They are trash everywhere, just leaving nasty stuff everywhere. It's just bad, man. Again, I would never buy a house in that way, too. It's just too much risk. Well, no, you can't, Sam. They have too many rights for that, Sam, is the problem. So Sam says, well, wouldn't one just immediately hire some muscle to get them out? You would think that, but after they move in, they have rights, right? Like, they have squatters' rights there, and so you can't just come take them out. That's their home now, you know? It's crazy. It really is genuinely crazy, but yeah, a lot of people try to bribe them to leave, but getting them to leave is a different story. I think the move is to tell them you'll pay them a certain amount. They just got to leave, and then once they leave, just take the property and not pay them. SoFi in Spain is only about 48 hours. Yeah, that's crazy too. Is SoFi up or down? I'm in SoFi. Hey, SoFi's green. I'm actually green on my SoFi position. It took a while though. We were down. Maybe I should have added more to it on this dip for SoFi. But yeah, Taiwan Semiconductors had good earnings. Big money, big orders, more every day. V and Q. Is it that the real estate ETF? Vanguard real estate, yeah. Alright, so again, we're still at the bottom of this trend line here. Look at this. So we still bounced directly off of this trend here in the NASDAQ. It doesn't mean we're going to hold, but you can kind of see the little mini trend. The Q is actually pretty flat. Again, jobless claims unemployment filings expected at 8:30. Let me put this up on screen. Is expected at 229K. Last time it showed 222K. This data drops at 8:30. Put this up on screen. Who? All right. What's the symbol? Oh, the CEO of SoFi. Yeah, I don't know enough about it like that. He was the former CEO of Twitter. He was managing director at Goldman Sachs, CFO of the National Football League, COO of Twitter, and head of Twitter Ventures. Huh. Yeah, it was on CNBC yesterday. Yeah, dude, so my arm is messed up. Anyway, do we have any jiu-jitsu practitioners in chat? I'm a two-stripe spazzy white belt in jiu-jitsu, you know. But a couple days ago was the first time I really let an Americana go a little bit too far before I tapped, right? And my whole elbow, underneath my elbow right here has hurt since then. It's getting a little bit better every day. I'm going back to jiu-jitsu today. We'll see how that goes. But I'm basically, and I'm right-handed too. And this is my right hand. So I'm just going to have to tap early today. My friend showed me an armbar years ago. Yeah, so this wasn't an armbar. This was a Americana. So this was like, it's hard to explain what Americana is. Americana is wrist. You know, it's hard to explain. But yeah, Americana torques your shoulder and your elbow, and I let it go too long. I was trying to roll out of it though. We got this guy, this new guy that came to class, man. He's a white belt, like no stripe white belt. Right, so anybody in jiu-jitsu is looking at him like, okay, I could take this guy. This dude's big, strong, and he's like a high-level judo guy. And so he knows submissions, he knows grappling, and he just beat me up, dude. Just beat me up. Not that bad. I almost guillotined him, but like I'm banned from doing guillotines for the time. So, yeah, an inverted Kimura is what it is. They actually agreed on the same thing, same day, and tanked. Turmeric, yeah, maybe. Digital banking is the future. Yeah, I agree. I think cash is already dead. Like physical cash is completely obsolete now. Nobody uses it. Like so, physical cash is basically done. Nobody needs it. Nobody uses it. Nobody wants it. TSM, yeah, TSM is up a little bit. It had good earnings. Let me see the guidance. Somebody asked me about their guidance numbers earlier. Mm. The good news about my elbow is that it's usually pretty hard to break my lockdown when somebody's trying to armbar me. I don't know what it's hard to break. I usually take a C grip, gable grip, whatever you want to call it. The only people that use cash. Noto is buying SoFi shares with his own money. Getting rid of the physical cash is bad for us. Yeah, but it's the inevitable, like, future that we have with cash. You know, like, people are not going to be using cash like they once was. Why? Because a lot of business is online now. Like, most business, I would argue, is online for me. Like, I spend so much more money online than I ever do buying from individual, like, retailers or stuff like that. I almost never buy from people. I'm almost buying stuff online. Isn't physical cash untraceable? It's nothing is completely untraceable. It's less traceable. Yeah, casino is still one of the use case arguments. Yeah, kids aren't going to know what cash is in 30 years. Yeah, so. Again, he is up to 1280s, chat, 1280s. So we hedge against text with a boring stock like Kroger. I mean, I'm not gonna say you should or shouldn't. I don't know. It depends on how much you like. It depends on your risk tolerance. I like Kroger. Kroger's a strong company long term. Kroger makes a lot of money. One thing that you realize at Kroger is this. All right, and this is Kroger's business. This is where Kroger shines. Okay, from somebody that has shopped at Kroger before. I don't really shop there anymore, but I used to shop there. Kroger is more expensive than like HEB, Walmart, stuff like that. It's less expensive than Target, but it's somewhere in the middle range of price between like Target and Walmart. So Kroger is more expensive as a brand. The reason I don't go there anymore is because I can get the same stuff for cheaper at like a different grocery store. And so if I'm going to spend this much money, I'm just going to go to like a different place. But yeah, Kroger makes good money, very reliable business, grocery store, people, very, very busy store. The only problem I have with Kroger short term is that Kroger's pushing up a lot over the past like 2 months. Kroger was at $49 back at the beginning of July. It's already at $55. So it's up $6 a share at a $50 stock in 2.5 weeks, so just up too much. How much interest does Bill pay out though? So I see Bill, but how much interest does Bill pay out? Again, this is where AI really shines, right? So you want to know what the use case argument for AI is. I can go to AI and say, explain the differences between TBIL ETF and BIL ETF. It says T-bill is a U.S. Treasury 1 to 3 month bill ETF, and BIL is a Spider Bloomberg Barclays 1 to 3 month T-bill ETF, and are both exchange-traded funds that invest in U.S. Treasuries with short maturities, typically ranging from 1 to 3 months. However, there's some differences that the two investors should be aware of. T-bill is managed by iShares, which is a subsidiary of BlackRock. T-bill seeks to track the investment results of an index composed of U.S. Treasury bills with maturities ranging from 1 to 3 months. The expense ratio for T-bill is typically very low, reflecting its focus on short-term, low-risk government securities. The primary objective of T-bill is to provide exposure to short-term Treasury bills, aiming for capital preservation and liquidity. And given the short duration of the underlying securities, the yield is typically low, but the fund aims to provide stability and low volatility. Now, when we look at BIL here, there are some differences from T-bill. When we look at Bill is from Spider, Bloomberg, Barclays. The issuer is State Street Global Advisors. BIL seeks to provide investment results that correspond generally to the price and yield performance of the Bloomberg Barclays 1 to 3 month U.S. Treasury bill index. Bill focuses on Treasury bills from 1 to 3 months with a slightly broader range of short-term debt instruments compared to T-bill. The yield of BIL will also be influenced by short-term interest rates, but it might show slight variations compared to T-bill due to the inclusion of 1-month bills. Bill uses a passive manager approach to track the performance. T-bill focused solely on 3-month Treasury bills. BIL is between 1 and 3 months, so a little bit lower duration of treasuries. T-bill tracks ICE, Bank of America, U.S. 3-month Treasury bill index. BIL tracks the Bloomberg Barclays one. T-bill yield is closely aligned with 3-month T-bills. So T-bill is basically 3-month bonds. BIL reflects 1 to 3 months bonds, which might offer slight variations compared to T-bill. So they're both designed for the same thing, but so does BIL pay a dividend? I'm assuming it does, right? Kroger bought all the cars the safe way. Hey, Kroger. Why? Yeah, Target. I like Target as a company because I know how much money they make. I hate shopping there. I love them as a company. Hate shopping there. Why do I hate shopping there? Because I go there and I buy 5 freaking things and it's like $300. You know, every time my wife goes there, she can't help but buy a bunch of stuff. And my daughter loves it because they've got a good makeup section. And like, you know, it's just, I hate grocery stores in general. I hate shopping. My wife loves it. I freaking hate it, you know. I freaking hate it. Oh, yeah, there she is. Yeah. I'm telling them about how much Carol tricked me into going to Costco on a Sunday last weekend. You should feel horrible about this. She tricks me into going there and she's like, hey, I gotta just go here. And we go to Costco on a Sunday. Never, ever go to Costco on a freaking Sunday. It's the worst thing you could ever do. It's like Dante's Inferno is what Costco is like on a Sunday morning. You know, it's just horrible, you know. The problem with Costco is the other problem is that they have no smaller buggies, right? All of their buggies are freaking ridiculously huge. You can't get around the store without basically shoving people out the way. It's just a horrible thing. I hate it. Never again will I go to Costco on a Sunday. I can't even drive past Costco on the weekend. The whole road is messed up with people trying to get in. Yeah. I mean, they're probably making a lot of money, though, realistically. All right, so the dividend yield for BIL has a dividend yield of approximately 5.23%. So, wow. So interesting enough, BIL... Hold on. So BIL has a better dividend yield than T-bill, I think, right? Let me check this. Okay, never mind. T-bill has better, 5.5 versus 5.23. Okay, gotcha. Honestly, almost 6% from Treasury bills right now. It's pretty solid. Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of... Higher jobless claims means higher unemployment rate. Correct. Yeah, so higher jobless claims means more people filing for unemployment. All right, guys. You guys ready for jobless claims data? Jobless claims drops in 20 minutes, chat. 20 minutes. Yeah, so we get unemployment data coming out. So we get jobless claims unemployment data. We're going to cover it live like we always do. We'll see what how this looks, but all right, so again, we got jobless claims numbers coming out. We got about 400 people here live. Definitely have lower volume. We've had really good volume from like Jerome Powell over the last couple of days. Don't they keep changing the expected number? Was it another metric? I'm not sure. The expected number for jobless claims is at 229. Last time we showed up at 222K. Give me your predictions for jobless claims numbers. What number do you guys think they show up as? Also, looking at our poll numbers here, we got 62% think higher, 38% think lower. Do me a favor, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, team, if you haven't already. I appreciate it. Yeah, no volume today. Liquidity's lighter for sure. The good news is that we got earnings season next week, right? So we got a lot of stuff to do next week. All right, so look at this bounce back up here. I don't know if I should change the angle. I guess I could. But again, with jobless claims numbers dropping in 15 minutes, it'll be fun to see what happens. We have built up some profit today, I think. Yeah, so we got some profit here. We did get that bounce. I don't know whether the angle... Anything else that looks good today, guys? Netflix reports after the bell today. Yeah, for sure. Do not cover the ECB decision. It's in 1 minute. Yeah, so the ECB decision, we'll cover it. It's just not a, you know, I don't think it's like a big market influencer. But yeah, the ECB decision came in, and it showed up at 3.75, which is what was expected. The refinance rate showed up at 4.25 versus 4.25 expected. So, yeah, it basically came in as expected, which was, let me see. Yeah, this week's a little bit slower week leading in. We also have the Philly Fed Index that drops in 15 minutes. I forgot. So we do have the Philly Fed Index. Expectations are 2.7%. So yeah, the ECB paused rates at 4.25, which is what they were last time. So ECB statement will keep policy rates sufficiently restricted for as long as necessary to achieve this aim. They said we'll be data dependent and we'll take a meeting by meeting approach. Reiterates the GC is not pre-committing to a particular path. So this is the ECB statement. Again, they paused rates. They didn't raise. They just paused. That is their statement here. Yeah. Yeah, so again, and manufacturing numbers come out today too. So again, the big thing, the other big thing is the Philly Fed Index manufacturing numbers. Yeah, we're also going to do a dedicated day trading stream as well today. Yeah, so again, I do see AMC and GameStop. Nike's back up some today too. We're in Nike. Still got a long ways to go on that one, but it's all good. We'll make it. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out Apex. You know, we made a little bit of money on Apex already. And again, Apex is paying out more and more people. The great thing about Apex is this, right? Apex, people can say whatever they want about payouts, but when you look at Apex, right, they are constantly processing payouts. Like, look, this was all yesterday, July 17th. These are all payouts that have been processed by Apex. And what Apex does is they give you a demo, and they test your skill with the demo account. If you pass the test with the demo, they fund you the same with a regular account, right? So the base one, they give you 25K. If you can make 1,500 without losing 1,500 and following their rules, they fund you 25K with a 90% split. It's the best of both worlds if you're a new trader. Almost all new traders are going to lose their first couple accounts. It makes no sense to put the money up yourself for your first couple accounts. Instead, try a funded account program like Apex. It's going to come with real-time data as well. And if you were going to pay for a demo account with real-time data, it's going to cost about the same as this, which is $35 if you use my coupon code and link. Only $35. If you lose, you're out $35. It's not the end of the world, but if you pass it, you get 25K in funding with a 90% split. You could also get the 150, 250, and 300K challenges for the same exact price, $35, $40 if you use my coupon code with real-time data as well. And again, this is the best of both worlds. If you pass it, you get a 90% split. It's similar to putting the money up yourself. Similar, if you make 10K, you get to keep 9 of that. If you fail, you're out $35 a month. It's not the end of the world. They pay out hundreds of millions of dollars. They paid out over $240 million since 2022. Now, again, they are a sponsor of mine. They pay me money. I'm biased because of it, of course, because they pay me money. But it is a great way to learn how to day trade with limited risk. You just got to understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, guys. Understand those rules. Check them out. Great way to learn how to day trade. But yeah. Let's get ready, guys. Jobless claims numbers drop in 10 minutes, chat. 10 minutes. A little bit less than 10 minutes, but still. Or a little bit over 10 minutes, but still. Now it's exactly 10 minutes. So 10 minutes, guys, for jobless claims. Yeah, you can trade news. You can't go, like... You can trade news if it's your normal strategies. I would check everything with them first, of course. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased, but yeah. For the most part, you can. Yeah, gold, rip it up right now, guys. Gold is flying up. Gold up to almost $2,500. You know, the lifetime highs for gold are at 2480s. Gold is currently at 2470s. So gold is making moves this morning here, Chad. Here's gold. Gold at 2470s. Lifetime high for gold is right here. 2488 right here. That's the lifetime high for gold. We'll make this big so you guys can see it. That's the lifetime high for gold, way up there. Yeah, I don't even know what financial advice is. We're definitely not putting it out there. All right, guys. Again, what's your last minute predictions for jobless claims numbers here, guys? Jobless claims numbers drop at 8:30. We do have the Philly Fed Index expected at 2.9%. 2.9% chat for the Philly Fed Index. We'll see if it's good or not. We'll see what it looks like. $233. Yeah, expectations are 229. So 233 would be much more unemployment filings than expected. Much more unemployment filings than expected. I mean, you can buy gold in a lot of different ways. You know, it depends on how long you want to hold it. Gold ETFs are usually the move, you know. All right, guys. So again, jobless claims numbers dropping soon. We still got 7 minutes, a little bit over 7 minutes left. Yeah, so again, if you want, like, there's a couple ways. So if you invest in gold futures, the problem is rollovers happen every quarter, right? So if you want to invest in gold long term, I would recommend an ETF over buying gold futures, because you can buy gold futures, but your contracts are going to expire every quarter. And with that, you know, you're essentially going to have to stay on top of it. You're going to have to, every quarter, you're going to have to sell your current contract and buy the new contract and continue that position and accept the losses or gains that you've made in that quarter, right? So there's just a difference there. I would rather buy gold ETF is easier. And that's what I actually invest in, is a gold ETF, right? Like, I'm up in a gold ETF. I trade GLD, which is the Spider Gold Shares ETF, is what I hold currently. It's what I've been in for a long time. You could also just buy some actual gold coins. The revision will be 238. We'll see. $215 is what some people are speculating for. We still got 6 minutes left, chat. 6 minutes. This timer's a little bit early, but that's okay. What's up, trading? I'm also going to throw this in sub-only mode, so if you have not already, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Again, let's see what we get. Jobless claims numbers drop soon. All right, guys. Jobless claims. 5 minutes here, chat. 5 minutes. Let me find this here. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta make sure my yeah, so again, we got the market pushing up ahead of this report. 4 minutes here, chat. 4 minutes. There we go. But the revisions usually come in when they drop the next report. Speculation says anything could happen. Yeah, for sure. If you want to have gold, it's always best to have it physically in your possession. It depends. Like, there's pros and cons to it. 221 is what my number comes in as. The gold ETF is GLD is the symbol. It's the Spider Gold Shares ETF. It's what I usually take. Yeah, I mean, you can buy, like, an ETF is fine. Like, if you buy an ETF, it's going to track the price of gold. It's pretty much the same thing. You just have less physical demanding space. Like, you don't have to keep it at your home and worry about somebody breaking in or doing whatever. Yeah. All right, guys. We got 4 minutes left. 4 minutes. Here we go. I'd argue the whole point of gold is an insurance policy, which is best when you have it in person. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think gold is one of the best inflation hedges long term, right? But short term, anything can freaking happen with it. It can downtrend for a long time, right? For a long time. So there's risks for sure doing that, you know? So it just depends on how you look at it. All right, guys. All right, 22 is here. All right, we're at 45s for the Q, 45s. What are you guys doing here, chat? We got 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes left. Again, what's your last minute predictions for this? I see a lot of people talking about over 230s for jobless claims numbers, unemployment filings. Okay, so you buy gold as a hedge and sell it to who? It's gold, brother. You don't have to sell it to a pawn shop. You can sell it to anybody, bro. You can literally sell it to anybody. You can sell it to jewelers. You can sell it to pawn shops. You can sell it to regular people. Gold has always been very liquid, to be honest. Like, you can always sell gold very quickly, very easily. It's always been a pretty liquid thing, like a pretty liquid, yeah, a pretty liquid thing, you know. All right, guys, we got less than 2 minutes left. Less than 2 minutes left. So we are following this trend, I would say. Maybe it could be like a little bit like this, but I'm going to keep the same angle and just see if we end up filling that. But here, market's about to drop unemployment filings very, very soon. Very, very soon. Yeah, but pawn shops are, like, you're acting like you have to sell them to pawn shops and that nobody else is going to want to buy gold. It's gold. Again, gold has outperformed the stock market over the last 20 years. You know, gold has 10x'd almost over the last 10 or over the last 20 years. You know, that's a crazy good investment. All right, guys, here we go. Less than a minute. $40 seconds, chat, 40 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Here, jobless claims numbers about to come out. Again, jobless claims numbers expected at 229,000. 229K is what they're expected at. This timer is a little bit early, so we actually got about 20 seconds left. Jobless claims expected at 229K. 229. Philly Fed Index expected at 2.7%, guys. Here we go. Let's see what we get. Here's gold on the top right. Here's the Q on the bottom right. Here's the NASDAQ, which is basically the Q price action on the left side. And here we go. And there's the report. Jobless claims showed up at 243, way higher than expected. Way higher than expected. Way more than expected unemployment filings. The Philly Fed Index also showed a lot of strength in manufacturing at almost 14, 13.9 versus 2.7 is what the Philly Fed Index showed. Again, 13.9 versus 2.7 is what it showed. Jobless claims, again, showed up at 243,000 versus 229,000, way higher than almost anybody expected for jobless claims numbers. So unemployment filings showed up much higher, and the market reacted positively to this. Again, what this means is more rate cut pressure for sure, but the Philly Fed Index also showed strong numbers as well. And so, you know, jobless claims did go up versus expectations at 229 expected. We showed up at 243 for jobless claims. Again, Philly Fed Index showed up at 13.9 versus 2.7. And so again, much higher numbers here. Here's jobless claims, 243 versus 230K expected. And again, the market so far has reacted positively to this, which means what? Which means the market fears inflation over everything else. If the market's reacting positively to more people filing for unemployment, the natural meaning to this is that the market is fearing inflation heavily, right? And again, if the market fears inflation, we should not cut rates, to be honest. If the market fears inflation, we should not cut rates. And again, this is a weekly report, so it's not like this is the end-all be-all of metrics, right? This is a weekly report. So again, here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is up slightly from this report. Gold has actually rebounded too a little bit on this report as well. The Q still moving up. Here's the Q. Nah, we definitely shouldn't cut rates anyway, but we will. We already did. Yeah. Now, this is a weekly report. Meta is reportedly in talks to acquire a stake of around 5% in Essilor Luxottica LFP via Wall Street Journal citing sources. Stake could be valued at around 4.5 billion euros. Again, jobless claims showed up at 243 versus 230 expected. Philly Fed Index showed up at 13.9 versus 2.9 expected. So the manufacturing index was much stronger than expected. We'll put this up on screen too. But again, a much stronger manufacturing index than a lot of people expected there. Again, 2.9. Interesting. Looking forward to see what my gold miner stocks do today. Looking good. All right, there's the NASDAQ pushing up higher. Again, the market's reacted positively to more unemployment filings, which is, again, what this means is that the market fears inflation, chat. This is what it means. The market fears inflation heavily. That is what this means. The market fears inflation. They don't want more inflation. Yeah, so that's what this means. The market genuinely fears inflation. All right, guys, so do you think the market holds? Let me end this poll. We're going to do another poll right now. Does the jobless claims report show higher or lower? 65% think higher, 34% think lower. Does the current market fear inflation or economic weakness more? Let's phrase this better. Does the current market more so fear inflation or economic weakness? Is a better way to put it. All right. Vote on that poll. This is a really good sentiment guessing thing here. So let me know what you guys think. 233. Yeah, this came in much higher than expected. The Q is pushing up a lot from this report, though, surprisingly enough. Yeah, interesting. All Alright, so again, we're going to be doing a day trading stream today, like we told you guys yesterday. So... Alright, so yeah, we are going to be doing a day trading stream today. No, the dog was barking in reaction to... Yeah, so... Yeah, so we're going to get ready here. Again, we're going to be... Yeah, I gotta... There we go. Meta reportedly talks to buy 5% of LFP, according to Wall Street Journal. What did gold do? So gold is actually dipping all the way down to the 200 EMA. The NASDAQ is still pushing higher. So yeah, the NASDAQ is now pushing higher and higher here. We'll see if that level holds. And again, stick around, guys. We are going to be doing a day trading stream. So we are going to be doing a day trading stream pretty soon. So we're dipping down a little bit here too. Part of me wants to short. We're kind of right at the top of this trend line here. What do you guys think? We're kind of at the top of the trend line. Yeah, so unemployment filings came in hot. Yeah, so again, this is going to be the New York. Yeah, so New York Open is what we're going to be trading. So we just got to set this up. All right, so this stream is getting ready. Again, we're going to start this other stream in a couple minutes. We're still pushing up, though. Again, part of me wants to short. I guess I will. We're already up a couple $100, though. All right, so we're short. We're basically flat right now. All right, so we're up a little bit. There we go. There we go. $60. We're going to cover this and just lock in the profit and see what we get moving forward. Yeah, so we're gonna be day trading today for sure. So stick around. Yeah, so we made our little money day trade. We're up. Again, I'll show you the P&L that we're up today on. So again, here's our P&L. We are currently up about 180 on the day trading. And again, we're gonna go a little bit harder into this account at the opening bell. Q is still breaking highs. Gold is pulled back all the way. We'll probably day trade gold a little bit as well. Well, there used to be a site called Float Checker, Dennis, that's no longer around anymore. You know, so there used to be a site called Float Checker that's just, again, simply not around anymore, unfortunately. So, yeah. So, yeah, there used to be a site, Float Checker, not around anymore. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of building the background of the, look at the NASDAQ test 485s again here, chat. So again, we're going to get into some day trades now. Like I told you. We're going to start doing a day trading show daily. I'm trying to build this up, make sure it's good. Yeah, so I think on this one, I'm going to do like a big screen for my day trading stream. There we go. And I'll try to have a one here I did earlier, like a big screen. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, so look at the Q, still pumping up here, guys. All right, so yeah, we do not guarantee anything here, chat. We'll save this one for our day trading disclaimer. And yeah, all right, we're gonna get ready to do our day trading stream, chat. Again, you shouldn't have to go anywhere, guys. You shouldn't have to go anywhere. Literally, as soon as we end the stream, it should immediately convert you to our new day trading stream. Right, so as soon as we end the stream, it should immediately convert you to our new day trading stream. You won't have to go anywhere. Yeah, it should immediately bring you to our day trading stream. So don't go anywhere. Stick around. Yeah, I like Apex. I like Top Step and Apex. I promote both of them, but Top Step's great. Apex is great. Pros and cons of each, but I like both of them, to be honest. All right, guys, and again, we're going to be trading a little bit larger today on our day trading account, so stick around. You guys ready? All right. Again, guys, don't go anywhere. Just in case it doesn't bring you to the day trading stream, I'm going to post this. As soon as you get there, help me out. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If it doesn't bring you there for whatever reason, there's the link to our day trading stream. All right, but it should immediately bring you there. It should automatically bring you to the day trading stream. Look at the NASDAQ, though, guys. NASDAQ's surging up here. And, all right, guys. Let's go ahead and start this up. And again, don't go anywhere. As soon as we close this stream, it should bring you to the day trading stream immediately. So I'll see you guys over there. We're going to be trading large. Take some size today at the opening bell. Wish me luck. And let's do this. I'll see you guys over there. If it doesn't bring you for whatever reason, there's the link.